Welcome back to Outdoors with Dwayne. We're going to do our first fishing knot section today. The knot I want to show y'all is the double Uni-Knot. I also heard some people in videos call it a double Uni-Knot, but that sounds weird to say, so I'm going to stick with double Uni-Knot. I'm going to do it first in these two different colors of paracord because it's easier for people to see if it's in a larger scale, two different colors, so you can tell the difference in what I'm doing with each lines. And then I'll move in and I'll do it with a 20-pound fluoro and then a 30-pound braid, because that's my practical use for it, is tying a fluoro leader or a mono leader to my braided line. That way I can kind of hide that lure a little bit better. And I also use this same knot on my mono filament backer that I use on my spinning reels. Keeps the line from just spinning like crazy on the reel. So I love this thing. I learned it a couple of weeks ago and I don't know how I've survived without it. But here we go. Alright, so I got my two colors. I got my black paracord and I got my blue paracord. I'll start off with the black one, and I'm going to pull about roughly 12 inches. It don't have to be exact. Just enough cord to where you feel like you can work with it comfortably. I'm going to take my blue end. I'm going to do the same thing. Catch it at about 12 inches. So that these are just kind of laying together like this. I'm going to start with the tag end of the black paracord, and I'm going to make a loop, and I'm going to pinch it between my thumb and my index finger like that. Nothing fancy. I'm just simply holding the loop right there. Now I'm going to take the black line and go over. I like to do this 5-6 times, depending on what line I'm using, but for this purpose we're going to do it 4 or 5 times, and just go over. And then you're going to pull it through, over, and pull it through. Okay? So you're just wrapping around your inside lines is all you're doing. Then I'm going to take my main line and my tag line, and I'm going to pull them tight. Now with this big paracord, I got to work it a little bit with my fingers to get it how it's supposed to be. But you get it tight. And this is what you're looking at. If my phone will focus correctly, you can kind of see it there. But I got my wraparounds right there, and then just kind of cinch everything up by pulling it tight. This will look a lot cleaner with the fishing line, but for this purpose that's pretty decent. And at this point you've got your tag end of your blue. You're going to come on this side, grip it about right here, and you're going to do the same thing. You're just going to make you a loop, grabbing these lines. And you're just going to continue with that process. You're going to go over and through, over and through, over and through, just however many times you want to do it. I recommend 4 or 5 times just for this line for the sake of practice. And then the same thing, tag line, main line. It kind of helps to pull your main line, and it takes the slack out of this right here. And then you can pull your tag line and tighten it up. Pull them both firm. And then you're going to take the main line of the black, the main line of the blue, pull them together. On the fishing line, you would moisten this with saliva or water. Then you pull them together. Okay. And that's a strong knot right there. So on the version that I posted to my Facebook page, I immediately followed up with this same knot using mono and braided line to kind of show how I use it to make the leaders for fishing lures and whatnot. But it made this video twice as long, so I'm just going to go ahead and hit you with some highlights as well as some viewer reviews that actually went out and tried this knot. So this is a pretty popular knot, so I wasn't surprised to get some comments about how, you know, some already use this and think that it's a good knot. It's also tedious, so I also wasn't surprised to hear about how, you know, it's just too much to do, especially if you're floating around on the kayak, you just broke your line or what have you, you're already irritated. And then I had a couple people say that they don't really trust the knot because of when they used it, just the way it broke just made them lose a little trust in it. And that's fine. I definitely don't want you to do anything that you don't trust. I want to go ahead and reiterate that before you cinch this knot down tight, you need to lubricate this knot with saliva. If you don't, this braid is going to rub on that mono. It's going to create a lot of heat in the mono or the fluorocarbon, and it's going to wrinkle that stuff up. And when it wrinkles it all up, it's like melting it, so it weakens it. So make sure that you're lubricating this knot properly before you cinch it down. That way you can get the maximum performance out of the knot.